This is the Harbor Freight tubing roller, and it's made so you can easily bend EMT conduit and other pipes and tubes into half circles, full circles, S-curves, and all kinds of cool stuff like that. And we've been wanting this for a while, and we finally picked it up. So today we're going to do a bit of an unboxing, as well as some modifications to this that people who have owned this and used it have said are pretty much necessary in order for it to function long term. So we're going to do that, and we'll get more into that later, but first let's crack this open. This has just the roller in it, I believe. It says box B. Basically, this is the giant wheel that you have to turn the actual bender with, or the roller with, I guess. To get these off. All right. Get all these things out of here. And the box comes apart. And yeah, this is, oh wow, this is the wheel. Makes me feel like I'm captaining a ship or driving a big bus, but this is the wheel that you actually turn to actually bend the tube and the pipe. So we'll set that aside for now and actually open the main part of the roller frame. I'm kind of surprised it's pretty much put together already. I thought there was going to be some assembly, but I think besides the extra dies, which we'll talk about here in a second, it's pretty well put together. And I'm kind of surprised at the overall quality of this so far, based on, wow, just the steel alone. Get that aside. And then inside the box, we've got a bunch of dies, and these are made specifically for different pipe sizes. They come with three. You've got 1 inch, 1.5 inch, and 2 inch. Then it says in the user manual, use the die that's the closest to the diameter of the pipe that you want to bend. But it comes with these three, and there's also a company called Swag Off-Road who makes all kinds of upgrades for cheaper tools like Harbor Freight tools and things. Apparently they have like 78 different dies for this specific bender and this roller that you can use for different sizes of conduit and all sorts of other pipes. They actually have all kinds of upgrades, not just dies, that you can use with this. So definitely check them out. Not sponsored by them or Harbor Freight, of course, but just wanted to shout them out because it looks like they have some pretty cool stuff that a lot of people have found useful. But inside the box, we've got the rest of the dies, as you can see here. And like I said, it comes with 3 sets, and that's pretty much all that's in the box. It didn't give you anything else, really, besides the styrofoam and, of course, the user manual. And I'll link this down below. They actually have a digital version that you can check out if you're interested in anything specific before you purchase it. But it has here, it says it can be used with steel, copper, and aluminum tubing. It even says that it can be used specifically with 3/4 inch EMT conduit, 1.25 inch EMT conduit, and 2 inch EMT conduit, which is really awesome because if you don't know, we like to build all kinds of stuff with 3/4 inch EMT as well as other sizes, but this works with 3/4 inch, which is really exciting. This is the main reason we picked it up, so we can use it with 3/4 inch and do some cool builds and things. But in the box, that's what we got. And here it is. You can see, if you're not familiar with what this actually is, basically there is 3 wheels that turn. There's 2 on the bottom and then 1 at the top that we have to put on. And basically, the pipes sit in between those 3 rollers, and then you twist the wheel around, and then the pipe goes through it, and then just kind of rocks back and forth, and the bend gets put in the pipe as you do that. Now, just by looking at it, I can tell that the smallest diameter is already in there, the 1 inch, which actually works perfect because I want to test this out with 3/4 inch EMT conduit first. So we've got the 2 rollers here at the base already there. We're going to put the roller on the top. And the way you do that is you've got this roller, this die that goes in the top. We have to raise this up first. So I got to get a wrench. I guess I could do it by hand right now. So you have this all the way at the top, and basically this rod goes through this middle section here, and the roller goes inside as well. And then the wheel connects to the front, and you turn that to bend the pipe. But a lot of people have commented and left reviews on the website for Harbor Freight and for this tubing roller that these set screws that you're supposed to use in this rod and for the wheel in the front, they will just eventually slip and either back out of the rod or just slip, which pretty much just renders the whole thing useless. So instead of just waiting for that to happen, because apparently with some people it happened pretty quickly, we're just going to go ahead and drill out a hole all the way through the rod and all the way through the wheel, and we're going to add a bolt all the way through to basically secure these in place a lot better. All right, and we're back, and we've got it put together. It's really cool. Not too complicated. It took a little bit to drill through the steel rod, but basically, as you saw, the top die here, this whole rod goes all the way through, and this top roller, secures and clamps down on with the set screw normally, and then the whole apparatus turns. And what people were complaining about was if you were really cranking it down, kind of getting towards the end of your bend, it could cause it to slip, and this would just slip all of a sudden, and the set screw would basically come out of the notch that's inside on the rod. So what we did was basically just drill all the way through the wheel, the rod, and the other side of the wheel, and just added a bolt. Now we've got some extra rigidity and security there. Then we did the same thing for the actual die, just drilled all the way through it, as you can see here, and then just added a bolt through and then a nut on this side the same way we did here. I got to get a longer bolt. I got a little bit too short of one, but basically that's going to add a lot more security and rigidity than just those set screws, and we shouldn't have to worry about, knock on something, we shouldn't have to worry about it messing up and slipping, which is really exciting. Another modification you might want to make is getting rid of this slop here. If these two opposite ends of each other get off kilter, then your bend is going to be off as well, and it's going to be hard to keep centered when you're going back and forth, and that's really important when you're bending. So it's actually a really easy solution. You don't have to drill through anything this time. Basically, you can just get some more of these washers, and I'll put a link in the description of the exact size that you want, and basically you'll just put that inside on both sides of the spacers next to the die, and that'll get rid of that slop and just shore it up and make it a lot easier to stay in plane and get your bends correct. But basically all you do is just slide that rod through the top, add your roller die, and they actually did a pretty good job of adding kind of a bump stop, so you really get good feedback whenever you're putting the wheel on and when you're putting the rod all the way through. You know where it's supposed to be, which is nice. And yeah, it goes together pretty easily. You need a 5mm hex wrench and then whatever size bolt you decide to go with. I did a 1/4 But we've got it together, which means we can finally use it. This is really exciting. Basically, I've got 3/4 EMT conduit here and the 1-inch OD dies that were already installed. And as we said earlier, you'll want to change out the dies if you are using a different pipe size. And to do that, you basically just pull out these pins, slide this rod out, and then slide it back in to change out the dies. So you'll just put your pipe in here on these two bottom rollers, and you want to try to get it as centered as possible. And then you're going to use 3/4 wrench, and you're going to tighten down this top piece here. And what this is going to do is just clamp down and kind of push down on the middle of the pipe. And you want to make sure not to do it too much. You just want to kind of get it to where it's snug. So right there I can feel it's pretty snug there. Then you're going to just roll the captain's wheel all the way back and forth. And it's important to go back all the way from one side to the other. And one thing to point out is you're always going to have a little bit of excess, just the way it's designed. You're going to have from pretty much where this die is all the way to this edge is going to be extra. You can't really bend that because it can't get underneath there. And then you probably want to leave excess on your bends anyway. If you're doing like a hoop house or something and you want it to go up a little bit and then arch, so that may not matter. You might just have to cut off that excess later. But you want to go as far as you can in both directions and then go back the other way as far as you can. And then you're basically just going to repeat that process over and over again and just make sure not to over tighten. Just tighten, maybe one full turn, or really, I think half a turn works pretty well. And you'll just go back and forth from one side to the other. And you'll just keep doing that until you get the desired radius. And then you'll have your half circle or even a full circle, but you do have to kind of be careful with the full circle because you got to be able to get it out once you have that there.
And now it's stuck in there. How do you get it out?
But you'll just go back and forth until you get your desired radius, and then you'll have your arch or your half circle, whatever it may be. So this is really cool. We're excited to use this. We've been wanting it for a while, but now we finally got it. And we're going to use it in some builds and just kind of test it out some more. And then we'll do a full review later on and kind of give you our thoughts then. But so far, I think it's pretty cool, and it's going to make these kinds of bins really easy. So if you want to see anything specific in the review, let us know. That's it for now. Thanks so much for watching. We'll see you in the next one.